What's up, everyone, and welcome to Project XTalk, an Xbox podcast, episode number 204, presented by Save the Game Media. I'm your host, Kevin, and on today's episode, we're going to recap that Xbox partner preview, let you know everything that was announced. You can soon stream all of your Xbox games, and we have a big old Xbox Game Pass drop to talk about. Before we get to all that, got to introduce my co-host, JamPackSam. How are you, my friend?
What's up, man? I'm doing well. My cat's yelling. She's saying hi too. It has been a wild week, but we're back for another one. I have been, when I have the time, no lifing vessel of hatred. So I have more thoughts to share on that. And yeah, man, keeping on. So I'm happy to be here once again. Big week of Xbox news. I feel like we haven't really had this robust of a week in a while. So I'm excited. There's good momentum going into the fall.
Yeah, it's a good one. We basically finished recording last week, and
Yeah.
then Sarah Bond tweeted, "You'll soon be able to buy your game as stream." I was like, "This would have been great 3 hours ago, Sarah. Like, where were you then?" No, but it's good. Obviously, partner preview to talk about as well. But I've had an interesting week. So I went and got my oil change Monday morning. I came home. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna play some Metaphor. I got the day off. It's gonna be a good day." And then like 2 hours later, my back decided it wasn't gonna work anymore. And by that, I mean, like, I've been in excruciating lower back pain this entire
Dang.
week. I can barely move. I'll be like doing the dishes, and then like 5 minutes in, I basically start 90 degrees and then end up at 45. And I'm like, I have to go lay down. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I'll just seize up. It's slowly getting better, but like probably still a few more days of being very uncomfortable.
Yeah, man, that's a bummer. I'm having the opposite issue where my upper back is killing me, where it's just like I don't know if I pulled something because I was lifting weights earlier this week or if I like started running a little bit more again, but I was like every time I twist around I'm like I feel like I just need to like get run over by a truck a little bit, just crack the spine, so I feel you on the back pain. Mine's not as debilitating and I know that's irritating. So I hope you at least you got some Metaphor time in from it, right? I hope.
Yeah, I have, and we'll talk about that for sure. But if you're new here, this is Project X Talk. We are live every Thursday right here on youtube.com/save the game media at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you can't catch us live, post every Friday morning on your favorite audio platform of choice. While you're over there, make sure to drop us that 5-star review. It does help us in the algorithm. If you want to support us even further, get early audio access to all of our content and exclusive bonus content, head over to patreon.com/save the game media. Choose a tier that's right for you, like our current Patreon supporters. So thank you to Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Lindsay, Nikolai at Night, Cypher, Primus, Brendan Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, David Hotright, Dave Harp, the Xbox Expansion Pass, Alpaca Tom, Lee Navarro, Silkenit, Ellery Woods Parker the Third, Chad, Shelby Macy, and Rick Davis. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. And last bit of housekeeping, Extra Life is roughly 2 weeks away, folks. A little over. I think it's like 16 days, but 2 weeks away. All right. So if you haven't, go check out our Extra Life link. It's down below in the show notes, in the description of the YouTube video, whatever you're listening on, it'll be there. Click that. You can see all the amazing prizes you can win by donating to our Extra Life efforts. Every $5 donation gets you a chance to win all the games are given away. Every $10 donation gets you a chance to win our grand prize of an Xbox Series S and 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate. So if that sounds great to you, you can donate now or during our 25-hour Extra Life stream right here on youtube.com/save the game media. We'd appreciate everyone come and hang out with us, maybe play some games with us. We'll be playing some online games probably, so it'll be a good time. But thank you in advance, and hope people can win some prizes because we're giving away a lot of them this year. All right, that's all the housekeeping, Sam. Why don't we jump into what have you been playing? I got to hear more about this Vessel of Hatred.
So every time I think that I'm like, all right, they have added a sufficient amount of mechanics, because keep in mind, like I said last week, whenever I was talking to Logan about it, I'm not the dude that's like pulling from the archives about Diablo 2 and like seeing the inspirations and stuff. I just like the gameplay loop of this one. So I go in expecting, not a lot and hoping for the best, and I just have a good time with Diablo. It's just my mindless grind game. And so, like I was saying, every time I get into a new feature or something, I'm like, they've added a sufficient amount of content here. And then there's another mechanic, and then there's another mechanic, and it's like they've continued to add and flesh out more to where there's a lot going on here. Specifically for those that have played it. Again, no spoilers in terms of the story, which is very solid. I'm enjoying it so far. But in terms of the mechanics, you've got this kind of like companion system where you can have two companions with you. One kind of like tag teams in as like an ultimate kind of kill. I haven't actually equipped two, but my fiance did. And so you have these people that kind of make it easier to do group activities if you're a solo player like me. So they just kind of help you along the way, which I found that to be really great. And then the rune system is the newest one that I found, where you basically combine a purple rune and a yellow rune. And I believe the yellow rune gives the purple rune power, and it's kind of like a passive ability that just randomly happens over time. So all of that to say, like, it's gotten very deep, but none of these mechanics are like to the point of turning me off from wanting to play the game. Sometimes you can get kind of overwhelmed by the amount of stuff going on. They've really sprinkled these in a way that makes it feel still welcoming, but also very satisfying when you get something that's really, really good. And you can kind of piece together like, oh, that works with my skill, which works with my weapon, which works with these pair of runes that I've got. And I'm just going to absolutely wreak havoc. It's very cool.
So for the two followers, because I've heard some people talk about this, but no one has addressed this, and I've always wondered: do they come as like a certain class? Can you how deep can you go into customizing them? Like, can you give them like, oh, I had this old piece of armor, I got something better here, you wear it.
No, so I have not seen any kind of system like that. Again, I just kind of scratched the surface of that because I'm trying to get to the end of the campaign so I can kind of see what's going on with the story, and then I'm going to keep fleshing it out. But effectively, there are 10 levels, I believe, that you can level these up, and they just passively level. You don't have to do anything with them. But it seems like more of a hero character kind of setup where like one dude is kind of like a tank, one person's kind of ranged, and so they're really kind of reflecting more of the classes rather than they are like individual. You've got to deck them out in armor and stuff like that. And for me, I think that's a positive, because I think that if I did have to like totally kit out my companion, I don't even like doing that myself half the time, where I'm like trying to figure out the armor pieces that fit the best tier and all these things.
That's the whole game, though.
It is
Diablo is dress up simulator.
It can be, but I mean, like thinking about having to like do transmog on the person following me, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
But I do think they've done really well with this. I think that it's fun. And again, it makes it easier for somebody like me that I might do couch co-op, which is how I normally play if my fiance is playing as well, because she's a higher level than me. She's had time this week. She's been grinding. So we'll dive in together. But when I don't have that opportunity, this is really, really nice. And the other thing that I'll say is that I was grabbing, I don't have it near me, but I have my Backbone out and I was playing on my iPhone. I was just streaming my console because it's not in cloud gaming yet, hopefully. And so I was playing my console remotely, and I was like, man, this is great. Like, it's just, they need to get Diablo 4 in the cloud ASAP. It's just the perfect cloud game. I know that Yizgemo and the Ubisoft clan have the rights right now, but like that seems like an instant win. And I know we'll talk more about the cloud, but remote play is a nice taste of what's to come when they eventually lock that one down. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I also did some remote play this week with what I've been playing, so I'll transition over there. Metaphor ReFantazio is the only thing I've touched this entire week. And you were right when you said, "Oh, the back pain. You probably had a lot of time to play." You are correct. I am 32 hours in. This game came out on Friday. I probably did 5 hours in the demo. So if everyone's wondering how I spend my week, it's horror movies and Metaphor.
I think they call that a job. Like 32 hours is you had one day of PTO and you have a job right there.
So what I have to say about this game is that it continues to get better and better. The story has ramped up dramatically in the last 2 hours. The characters continue to be a highlight for me. And I gotta say, I love Persona, but I think this is Atlas's best game. And not only is it Atlas's best game, it might break my top 25 of all time. I love this game.
That's great. That's a big statement.
Much. There is no doubt in my mind that this is my game of the year, and you would have to come out and be like a perfect video game to beat this in my mind right now, because there's just no way. Everything about this game is so good, from the story, from the combat, from the visuals. Oh my god, I'm in love with this game. Way more like I knew I was gonna like it. I was like, oh, it's good. It's fantasy Persona. It's so much more than that. Like the characters are so much deeper. They have complex issues going on. It's not just like high school drama. For this game gets dark, like really dark too. They're touching some very mature themes. So I can't speak highly enough about this. I played it on my console. I'm playing it on my ROG Ally because it is play anywhere. And I also did I
Ooh.
did some remote play, did some native, and I was like, ooh, it's a good time. Good time all around.
So are you playing natively on the ROG Ally?
Yes. Well, there was one time where I had to remote play because I didn't close it on my console, so I had to remote
Ah,
play, and I was like, I'll just do this for right now. Now I've been remembering save, close out the game on my Xbox so I can boot it because otherwise the cloud save won't transfer over.
I see. Yeah, I was just checking Metacritic because this is getting really, really good reviews. Now, again, I was poking fun at it last week with Simile Refinaglio, which I've thought about multiple times this week, and I've kind of chuckled to myself alone because
It was
I'm
a
like,
good
hey,
one. It was a
yeah,
good one.
it's pretty solid. But you don't see this very often where you've got 41 critic reviews, 94 Metacritic must play, then the user score also 9.1. And it's like, normally it's 94 and then you've got like a 7 or an 8 for the user score. I feel like I see that a lot for the ones that are kind of contentious. Yeah, this one's killing it. So again, it's not one. Actually, you tell me, knowing me, is this a game that I should check out, knowing my interest? Like, do you think that I would have remotely any kind of like feeling for this?
So I remember talking to Joe, Mr. Badbo over the trophy room about this, and he was saying that he fell asleep during the demo. Um, but then he tried it again and he liked it. And I think he might have picked it up. So my thing really is like they say it's a cross between real time and then turn-based combat. Yes and no. There are trash mobs where like if you're higher level than them, you'll just run through the battlefield, use your real-time combat, usually kill them one or two hits, right? If they are the same level or higher level, you're still going to have a lot of turn-based combat. So if that isn't something that jives with you, you're still not going to have a good time.
I don't think that's going to be my kind of thing. And I was actually offered a code to review this, like to check it out. And I was like, I think that that's best gone to somebody else, because I don't want to be the guy that just hoards codes to hoard codes. Other people can get in there and try it. But I think, like I said last week, I was hoping it would do well. It is doing well. I'm interested to see the sales figures on Xbox if we ever get those. But it's nice to see a win for a game like this outside of the PlayStation ecosystem or the
Mhm.
Switch ecosystem, where Xbox really feels like they've made a big impact with this. And I feel like there's kind of like a Pal World vibe to Metaphor right now, where like it blew up in a big way. And it's cool to see Xbox associated with something that finally blew up in a good way. And we've been seeing more and more of those, and they've been kind of hitting a good stride with that. So I'm really, really pleased with that.
Yeah,
Good for
I
them.
think what it's Atlas's fastest selling game, which
Yeah.
was Persona 3 Reload, took a week to sell 1 million. This did that in a day, so I assume
Crazy.
it's got to be 2 million plus at this point. I don't know how many of that is on Xbox. I did see, I think it was Jez Corden put out a poll earlier this week. It was like, if you bought Metaphor, what platform are you playing on? And PlayStation obviously had the majority of it. It might have not been Jez, but I think it was. And then I think it was PC at like 18 and Xbox at 14%. So a lot of the comments were, what was the point of Xbox even having the marketing? And I was like, it's only 4 points less than PC. Like, we're not trashing the PC ecosystem. What's going on here? So, like, if this, I don't know how it's selling on Xbox. I hope it's selling well. I've been on the Metaphor like Reddit a few times, and I know there are people playing on Xbox. I don't think that's the majority. PC and PlayStation are always going to be the majority, but I don't know. I gotta say, like, it feels like when there's Atlas or Sega games, the Xbox ecosystem kind of embraces them more.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I don't, this is not really in my wheelhouse of stuff that I keep track of. But what I will say to kind of go along with the marketing feel, and they kind of played into this in a Call of Duty ad as well. But Metaphor comes out, Xbox ad in Times Square or whatever that big, display they had was. Very cool to see physical marketing. Obviously, beginning of every trailer, basically, you've got some kind of Xbox thing. Then going right into or coming from at the same time, Vessel of Hatred, Xbox all over the place, flaming Xbox logo. You've got like, again, a big beat. Now going into it, Xbox branding all over Call of Duty. Then they had the replacer ad where it's the replacer as Narelle in Vessel of Hatred.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like, in a way that PlayStation has had in years past, every big game had PlayStation branding around it, it felt like. And now you're getting into where Xbox is kind of like dominating, to where even if they aren't where people are playing the games right now in terms of the share between the player base, it still is considered one of those things where it's like an underlying Xbox win because they're associated by the marketing nature of it. So the more that they can do that, the more you'll start to see that kind of like split shift a little bit more in their favor, I think, because people see how many games you can play on Xbox. That's pretty big.
Maybe Xbox should have marketed Hellblade like this. I didn't see no Times Square ad for Hellblade.
I mean, they did that big VR thing in like Norway or whatever
Yeah,
that was.
they
I
put it on
remember
some
that.
mountains or something.
Yeah, they did something like that. Now, it wasn't a place where like, a lot of people live that I remember, but like they did something.
Well, yeah, I am loving that. I'm gonna beat this game soon. Like, I know it was 80 to 100 hours. It's definitely not gonna take me that long. I'm thinking more like 40, 45-ish hours based on where I currently am, because I did just get told, hey, the final battle's coming up, which I don't believe is actually the final battle. I think they think it's the final battle. They want you to think it is, but I gotta be like getting along. So I'm thinking maybe 10, 15 more hours. I got
Yeah.
in this game.
I'm looking forward to hearing your final thoughts on that next week. I think that on my side with my Vessel of Hatred, I'm probably like, I want to say an hour, maybe 2 hours away from finishing the expansion, probably less, because I'm kind of like mainlining it to get through the meat of the story. So we can reconvene next week and have final thoughts on the things we've been spending all of our time on.
Hell yeah. Well, let's jump into the news this week because it is a packed week. So, story number one is the Xbox Partner Preview Recap. Xbox hosted a partner preview show earlier today, and we have the full details of the games announced. We're going to go in order, chat about at length. You know how we do it here on the show. If something's interested us, if not, we'll pass it along. First up, though, Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC. We got the first look at gameplay for this, where you'll be playing as Agent Estevez. And it's coming out October 22nd. So next week. Sam, are you in? Is this finally how I get you back in Alan Wake 2?
I think this is going to be kind of like how other people have been saying Vessel of Hatred is going to be like a winter game where they go back to the expansion. I think that Alan Wake 2 is going to be a game that I go back to whenever there's some kind of sale on the deluxe edition, because I think that's how you get am I correct in saying that's how you get the expansions? Yeah. I mean, I would love to go back and play through both of them at the same time and just kind of get back into Alan Wake in a big way once again. I say that. It do be spooky season, so like I might switch it up a little bit. I will say that I really liked what I saw, and it reminded me of my favorite parts of Alan Wake 2, like the below the police station. I really enjoyed the autopsy room, that kind of feel, and I was getting more of that. I like the paint monster. I don't know what these things are called, but I enjoyed the paint monster that they showed off in the trailer. So like good things that piqued my interest, and I'm excited about that. So yeah, I think I will go back. I don't know if it'll be now, but I will go back.
Yeah, I know people thought that you were going to play maybe as Jesse during this expansion. I think it's been known that it was Agent Estevez, which I'm excited because she obviously played a decent sized role in the first game. She kind of hints that something happened in the lake house, and now we get to finally see what that was. And it looks very disturbing. I don't like the creepy Slender Man people coming out the wall.
Yeah.
Like, not about that. That's a little too much, but I'm gonna play this. Next, when's the 22nd? Today's the 17th. That is Tuesday. So I'm gonna do my best to get Metaphor beat before Tuesday, so then I can play this.
Yeah, and I think that
excited.
One thing to praise Remedy for, though, is that like they announce it when it's ready, and not that they announce it because we've known this is coming. They showed this off a couple of weeks ago as well, but they drop the release date when it's basically there. Because I think that if you did have, the Lake House is coming fall 2024, which we might have known like a general date, but if you like put something in it, it builds it up a little too much. Now it's like, hey, Lake House, by the way, boom, play it next week. I love that. So keep doing that. Big fan of that time frame.
And for anyone interested that's listening, you haven't picked up Alan Wake 2 for some reason, maybe it's because it's been digital only. That is the day physical copies of Alan Wake 2 go on sale. So if you're interested in that, go pick that up. It comes with the deluxe edition. I don't think they're selling a normal standard physical edition. So, if you were waiting for the physical, great time to jump in.
Very nice.
I'm really interested to talk to you about the next one. Chronos, the New Dawn, coming from Bloober Team. This is a brand new game. Chronos, the New Dawn is set in a futuristic alternate 1980s Poland and is a brutal survival horror game. They just came off Silent Hill 2 remake, critically acclaimed, I might add, after years of people crapping on Bloober Team, which whether it's deserved or not, I think the medium was pretty good personally. But did you see this trailer? What do you think of Chronos?
Oh boy, let me tell you, I am really enjoying what I'm seeing from this game. And I made a quick little video just talking about the top 5 things I saw from the showcase / partner preview, whatever you want to call it. And this definitely made the list because it gives me Dead Space vibes in a lot of ways. And I love the Kojima style shoulder thing. I don't know what you call those items, but I like the little camera flashlight thing that's on the spaceman suit. And I love weird stuff. It just looks strange. I'm trying to figure out what's up with this old woman playing chess. Why are we using the claw machine on her? Like, there's so many questions that I've got. And I really, really am excited to see what Bloober Team does. I will say, had they not delivered on Silent Hill 2, wouldn't be nearly as excited, because the medium was a good game. I played it with Game Pass when it came out. I don't think it was a great game. I think it was fine. It was a 7 every day of the week for me, one of those. But coming off of Silent Hill 2, where they really, I feel like, elevated what they were able to deliver, if they're able to maintain that level of quality in an original project, I think that immediately kind of just catapults them up the list of really, really impressive studios that are making horror stuff. And so I'm excited to see what they do with this. But yeah, this is probably going to be a day one for me. I want to see more gameplay and stuff. But right now, I mean, it's right up my alley of things that I like.
Yeah, so when this immediately came on, I was like, "Oh, this looks like a game my brother Kyle would be interested in," because my first thought was, "Oh, Bloober wants to make a Dead Space game," because
Yeah.
that's the vibe it gives me straight off the bat. Obviously, it's got some weirdness, got like things are floating and like I don't know what that creepy hand touching the old lady he was playing chess with. There's some weird stuff going on here for sure. But I don't know, man. I think the vibes are there. I'm glad that Bloober is finally adding gameplay to their games. I say that in the nicest way possible, knowing that their other games were very much walking simulators or more of those narrative horror experiences. Where this and Silent Hill 2 seems to be like, okay, let's evolve. Let's make the formula, third person shooting. We'll keep the horror vibes and from what I've seen, very interested to see where this goes. I think this is a standout of the show.
Yeah, I think that I do want to see more glimpses of the gameplay. I want to see what the action looks like. I'm curious how far out this game is and how many resources they had dedicated to Silent Hill. But I'm really excited to see they're already talking about their next thing. And I think that while I don't know if this is how they kind of intended it to look, it really feels like this is a great opportunity to be like, hey, Bloober Team, remember 2 weeks ago when Silent Hill 2 landed? This is their next game. And it's not one of those things where we're talking about this 3 years later when the luster is kind of worn off of the big win. They're still kind of in their limelight moment right now. So a really good time to announce their next thing. I think it was really well done.
For sure. Moving along, Blind Fire got a trailer. It's a new first-person shooter that is out today in early access. That's described as a fast-paced arena shooter in which players will need to make careful use of tools, traps, and even echolocation to track down their opponents in darkened spaces. This one didn't do anything for me. This very much falls into the. You could have told me this was Frag Punk, and I would have believed. Like I'm just kind of got the blinders on for these games. I know there was that and this is gonna make me throw up a little. That third person roguelite hero extraction shooter or whatever that was announced earlier today on Twitter, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm done.
I mean, that was Fortnite. That was the thing that they announced earlier on Twitter. If we're talking about the same thing, it literally looked like they were dropping into Tilted Towers. It was kind of
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like that was like a Power World level. Like, you sure about that, bud? Like, you really
Hmm.
want to do that? For this game though, what was the name of it again? Run it by me one more time.
Blind fire.
That's what it was. Yeah, I couldn't remember because it's brand new. But I agree immediately. I was like, is this frag punk? But when you get into it, I thought it was interesting just because it's a new concept. I like the idea of the map being dark and you're kind of relying on light to see your enemies and get around your surroundings. The explosion of the barrel illuminates what your world looks like right now. So you've got to kind of navigate through that. It's a neat idea. I want to play it to kind of feel how it feels. And then also, I think that you're getting into the era of like the space is just a little bit saturated, even more than it has been in previous years. But, you're talking about Fragpunk trying to make an impact. You're talking about Spectre Divide, which these aren't similar games, but they're all FPS games. There's so many FPS options out there.
When
And
Concord comes back.
at Concord allegedly getting updates. I saw our friends on the PlayStation Sister podcast over there talking about that stuff. But you've got so many different games that are all going after that FPS audience, whether it's the hardcore tactical stuff or the arcade stuff. But then also looming in the shadows is Black Ops next week. And it's just like, whew, that's a tough battle to kind of fight right there. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I wish you all the best. Early access, so it's not a full release yet. I don't know if it's free to play early access. That usually is how it
I would
goes on
assume the
Xbox,
way that it
but
was phrased in the Xbox Wire made it sound like you can play it today with game preview. So I don't know. Let's find
okay.
out.
Yeah,
Keep on
yeah,
going.
yeah. It would be a smart choice. But next up, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. This is an action spin-off starring Goro Majima. Where you have some ship combat. He's a pirate. He's just doing crazy stuff. It's a crazy Yakuza game. All right. I don't really know how else to sell anyone on this. I'm in day one. They moved up the release date. I think that was the biggest announcement from this trailer. They moved it up a week. So it's now February 21st. 2028 instead of the same day as Monster Hunter. And they put out a nice little video after where the game director was like, so you can play this and then have time for the other games that are coming out. And I was like, you just straight up know that Monster Hunter was gonna like eat you.
Yeah, I don't have any feelings on this, but I do want to say that Blind Fire, how much do you think this game costs?
Ooh, if it's smart, 1999.
It's $9.
Oh, that's not
It's
bad.
it's $8.99. I don't think I've ever seen a game launch at $8.99. Like normally it's like a $9.99 or a $4.99. It's
Mhm.
$8.99 and there's a free trial, so you can get in and give it a shot. So I
Oh,
downloaded the free trial. It's installing now.
nice, nice. I will look forward to hearing your thoughts about that one. But that's a pretty good price point,
Yeah,
actually.
pretty good price. On the Pirate Yakuza thing, I don't have any thoughts, but that sounds like a fever dream where somebody just like absolutely drank a ton of NyQuil and played a lot of Yakuza and then just mumbled. Like I had no idea where that title was going as soon as it was announced, and yeah. Have fun with that one. Good luck.
Yeah, Goro Majima is kind of insane. Like that's his whole character.
Seemed
So
to be that way.
Mouse PI for Hire. We've seen this game before. I think this might be the first time it's been on an Xbox showcase, but this is a old school black and white Mickey Mouse cartoon first person shooter. I'm still interested. I think it looks pretty good. It doesn't look perfect to me. Like some of the enemies were getting shot and they weren't like recoiling. They were just kind of taking the bullets. I don't know if that's like the intended thing or they still got to work on some of the animations, but I think this looks really interesting. I'm not like day one, but this is a game I would like to play.
Yeah, I think that the art style is obviously the thing that this game is going to be known for. That's what they're trying to do. Um, and I think that that's going, fairly well. Every time I see this game, they're like, "Oh, here's the Steamboat Willie FPS," and it kind of looks like it plays like Doom with a little bit of like investigation stuff going on in there. So, I also don't know if it's a day one for me, but it's definitely going to be one that I play. Kind of like Cuphead, it'll be on the list of things that are like artistically inclined that I want to play. I still haven't played Cuphead, but Mouse PI will also be on that list too.
I hope it's easier than Cuphead because no, thank you.
I don't know. I need to get into Cuphead. I really like those like bullet hell ish kind of things. You know what I mean? Like I like dodging, bobbing, and weaving. That's my thing.
You know what? Fury. I don't
I
know if you
love
ever.
Fury.
Yeah, okay.
Big
Yeah,
Fury
man. Let's
guy.
go. Sean Capri, friend of the show over there, Carpool Gaming. He one night was like, Kevin, you should play Fury. So then it was like 2.99 on Steam. I
Yeah,
bought it and then I beat it the same night because I just played it for
so
like
good.
5 hours. And I
It's
was like,
such a good game, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Love the Game Baker. Shout out. They also made Haven, which I really loved, and then they're making this climbing game. But Spam in the chat says scared of mouse ending up in the Plucky Squire bucket. Looks great. Might play terribly. Don't put
Yeah.
that mojo into the world because now I also have that concern.
I don't know. I mean, the gameplay looks solid. I think it's easier to get away with like basic FPS gameplay than it is to get away with what the Plucky Squire was trying to do. Like I feel like you can emulate a lot of FPSs, but the other thing is a little bit more difficult. So I have faith. I have faith.
All right. Subnautica 2, the legendary survival game with light heavy elements. I don't even know what that means. Is getting a long awaited sequel with some serious graphical and cinematic upgrades. Subnautica 2 is releasing in early access for Xbox Series X and PC sometime in 2025 through the Xbox Game Preview program and will be available through Xbox Game Pass. I'm
More
not a
Subnautica.
Subnautica. Yeah, I'm not a
More
Subnautica guy.
Subnautica. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a Subnautica guy either. But I put a TikTok out again on the top 5 stuff, and immediately first comment was Subnautica, and I'm like, all right, cool. Y'all are happy. Go for it.
Yeah, shout out old co-host of this show, Ethan. He really liked Subnautica. This was I don't want to be underwater, man. Like that's like a big fear. Like why would I want to be? You know what's down there? I don't want to go down there.
It's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Subnautica's just never really done it for me, and I feel like those. I'm not a huge survival game guy. Like I like them occasionally. Like I got into Valheim and I enjoyed it, but then I come back and like once I've kind of established society, I'm like, well, I've got kind of done everything I want to do.
I won. I won the game.
Yeah, me with my tent and campfire. I won. I got it.
Doesn't get better than this.
Living the dream.
Animal Well is a 2D mystery platformer blending Metroidvania elements with a secret-filled world, and it has shadow dropped onto Xbox today. It was already out on all the other platforms. It was in PS Plus, one of the highest rated games of the year.
Yeah.
So if you were waiting for this one to come, Donkey lets you know it's available today.
Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on this one. I'm happy that it's finally on Xbox. I do think that the like moment in the sun has kind of come and gone. You know, like now Animal Well is coming to Xbox. It's like, oh, neat. Instead of like, oh yeah. But with that being said, man, Donkey's just funny. Like whenever he does, you know, shadows in the shadows. You got to get the shadows. By the way, Animal Well coming to Xbox today.
He's been putting out some Dragon Ball Z the Sparking Zero content recently, and he's been cracking me up with some of the stuff he's because like I don't know if he's never watched Dragon Ball, but some of the stuff he says is just out there.
That's what I love about Donkey is he's just like fun. I'm a big fan. I like what he does.
Me too.
Yeah, I enjoy that. So yeah, happy to see Animal Well here. I feel like for me, I'm gonna get hate for saying this. This falls in that what's the name of that? Undertale. This falls in the Undertale bucket for me of games that I'm sure are phenomenal indies that I know that are like 10s out of 10s, but I just have no interest in playing it. Like I look at Animal Well and I'm like, you know, it's like Axiom Verge a little bit, where it's like, man, I love that like art style and the idea of bringing back the Metroidvania. I'm good, you know, like I bought it 5 times. I'm still not playing it.
I think I own both of those games.
Yep. I think I know I own Axiom Verge on like 4 different things. I own, I think everything I mentioned right there, but I just like have no interest in playing this.
Yeah. So. I'm with you. Eden Zero is a new Konami published action game set in the Eden Zero manga and anime universe created by Hiro Mashima. I don't know how to say this. If anyone isn't familiar, this is coming 2025. This is the artist that just reuses character designs for every show he makes, because all these characters look exactly like his characters in Fairy Tail and look exactly like the characters in his other. I don't even remember what that one was called. I don't have any interest in this.
You know my answer before I even open my mouth.
Day one, baby. Let's go.
Day one. Yeah, no, this is one of those ones where, as always, I'm never gonna like yuck your yum. Happy for you. Keep on keeping on. Good luck. Have fun.
Chat has turned on us. Soaking it. It's okay, spam. At least in chat, we have good tastes.
I mean, somebody's got to balance it out. We hold it down on the screen. Y'all hold it down in the chat. That way we don't fall apart. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like me a 6 or a 7. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Eternal Strands is coming 2025 to Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Series X and S. This is a fire-filled third-person action adventure game. I've heard people talk about this before. I think this is a Monster Hunter style game, if I remember correctly.
Is it? Hold on.
So.
My understanding of this, the way that I interpret this, is that it looks very much like a Shadow of the Colossus with the elements like fire and ice and stuff like that mixed in. Like it looks like you're climbing all of these giant monolithic creatures and then like taking down their limbs and whatnot. That's what I'm getting from it.
The first article I find when I Google, is it a Monster Hunter game, says Eternal Strands is inspired by Shadow of the Colossus and Monster Hunter. So,
ooh.
Yeah, both kind of right.
Yes, this is one that I'm like, I'm kind of interested in. There's like, I appreciate the fact they're showing gameplay. I will say that, like, they are showing what the gameplay is going to be like. There is a sufficient amount of jank here to make me question buying it on day one. That being said, I'm a sucker for some Shadow of the Colossus. I love that game. So the more of that I can kind of get, I love taking down giant creatures, climbing up these giant, animals or whatever they are. Thinking about Breath of the Wild, really enjoyed that element of that game. So Eternal Strands, if it lands really well, I might check it out. I see IGN's article from April saying Eternal Strands, Shadow of the Colossus meets Tears of the Kingdom in this promising action adventure. You're saying all the right things for me. So might have to give that one a look, but yeah, it's on my list.
That's probably a pass for me. Both those things are not my cup of tea.
Understandable. I mean, it's not for everybody. Again, we don't have good taste, so I mean, to be expected.
Well, I've been told that for 204 episodes. Okay, so they're just finding out about you. Mistfall Hunter, a new game that mixes Souls-like gameplay and extraction mechanics. What are we doing here?
Oh man, I mean, like, I want to like the look, like I really want to enjoy what I'm looking at here. I want to play it, I guess, just to like see what it's like. I think that maybe the description is just what's throwing me off because I have no idea how that would work functionally. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I genuinely, this was probably the lowest point of the show for me. Like the other ones, I could at least like, oh, Subnautica 2, not for me, but that's a big announcement. This one, I'm just like, why are we doing this? You're combining two genres that like don't really go together, first of all, but also just, I don't think the game looks very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that the game looks fine to me. I think that I don't even know if I want to say that I would rather it be like a Lords of the Fallen where it's just a typical, Souls-like kind of game, because I do think we're getting a little bit oversaturated in that realm where we'll talk about the Wu Shang or whatever the next one is that comes up at the end. But I'm interested to see how it works just because like it sounds unique to me, and thinking about mechanics that don't necessarily go with one another. I mean, the prime example of that's Fortnite. Like who would have thought that this base building game could have a battle royale that felt like it was just making fun of PUBG, but then lo and behold, it effectively blew up the world and totally changed the gaming industry forever. So, I mean, like, I like the experimentation. I respect that element of it for sure.
Yeah, maybe in sorry, I forgot the name of this game, Mistfall Hunter, you could also build a skyscraper one day.
Maybe if you're lucky.
Wheel World is up next, originally announced as Ghost Bikes. Wheel World is an upcoming indie game published by Annapurna, in which you'll explore a vast, colorful open world at your own pace. Your goal, collect and repair all the missing ghost bikes, which possess the ability to travel between the living and worlds of the dead. Coming to Game Pass. I'm not like overly excited. Nothing here really like sold me on it, but this looks like one of those artistic indie games that I'm sure like people will fall in love with.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe as well. I was trying to find the game. Parcel Core is the game that I'm looking forward
Yes,
to.
yes, I think I
Yeah,
don't know if we talked about
I
that.
think we talked about it during one of the earlier
Yeah, you're doing like
showcases.
tricks and stuff while
Yeah,
delivering packages.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Jet Set Radio and Tony Hawk and Paperboy are like combined into one game. That's the game I'm looking forward to. With this, it just feels like it's kind of like a relaxing biking game. I might play it. I like the cell shaded art style. I'm just not entirely sold on this not being like it definitely just has that indie kind of flair to it, and that's
Mhm.
not like a dig. But this might be a game that I like pick up on a weekend where I'm sipping some coffee and I don't want to grind the hell tide in Diablo 4, and I'm like, you know what? Let's let's
I'm
go
gonna
to
ride
Wheel
a
World.
bike.
Let's go to Wheel World for a little while. You know, like
We-
I want to go. I want to go out in the Wheel World. You know, so I
Oh
might pick
my-
that up. uh,
Everyone look forward to Wheel World.
can you tell it's been a long week? I'm just.
Yeah,
I've been dealing with the Wheel World, so you know you gotta.
I did a 9.5 hour training yesterday. So
Oh, that's when it gets wheel.
yeah. Oh my God. Phasmophobia is finally coming to Xbox October 29th, just in time for you to play it on Halloween Day. A little late. I like this would have been great October 1st. So you have the whole month to be
I would agree.
spooky. Like better late than never. It is, I think, still early access. It's not in Game Pass. You're gonna have to pay for this one, but like I've heard it's a fun time.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I have a friend that's very, very into like the indie horror genre, where if it's like any game that's just like when Lethal Company came out, anything in that kind of vein, like they're on it the first 2 weeks that it's out on Steam. And Phasmophobia is one of those games that's consistently been in those circles. Like it's made a big name for itself. So it's good to see it finally coming to Xbox. And again, better late than never. I think it's right in time for Halloween. Really capitalizing on that. Probably could have gotten more of the streamer audience had you gone in October, like first, second, third. But still, again, glad to see it coming.
I was trying to think, is there any way to play that at Extra Life? I'm not sure there is. I'm not sure there is. Everyone will
Mm.
be able to see all each other's screens. So, The Legend of Babu, this adorable action adventure game, is more brutal than it looks, with child hero Sephir struggling against hordes of mighty foes using only their wits and weapons. Of course, Sephir is joined by Babu, a massive dog that can also be used as a mount, coming to Xbox in 2025. I got really not much to say about this one. Like the dog, as Sam Heaney pointed out, has Kratos' tattoo for some reason. Don't know what's going on there. I called it Dog of War, but
Interesting. And what's the name of this one again?
The Legend of Babu.
The Legend. I think this is one that this was the bathroom break one for me because I don't remember this one at all. I do not think I have any thoughts to share on this one. Yeah, this is the one that was the bathroom break game for me. So yeah, more power to you. No comments.
Oh, my camera broke.
Oh gosh,
Cool.
I got really big for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna give me 1 sec. I'm gonna refresh.
Sup chat. I know our tastes are bad. I also can't see you guys right now, but I hope you guys have a good day. Oh, he's back. Oh, thank God. I was carrying the show. All
Sorry,
right, cool.
everyone. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. My camera just seems to have an hour limit and then it breaks. I don't know what's happening. We're almost done. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers is up next, coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2025. As we already know, we got some gameplay trailers, and damn, does this game look good! It's so beautiful. You got some elemental sword attacks going on. The bosses look awesome. But as I tweeted at the developer, please put a difficulty option in this game. Please. I want to
Difficulty
play it
options are
so
definitely
bad.
good. Yeah, difficulty options are where it's at. I think that when it comes to any kind of difficulty in game, being able to scale is something that I think has been a really good benefit over the course of the past 5 years or so. Where like now I don't want to call them baby modes, but it's like if you just want to relax, you can relax. And I definitely think that's a big benefit to anything that it comes in. So I agree. Definitely make it easy.
Yes, because it looks phenomenal. And then rounding out the show, maybe the biggest announcement, depending on who you ask, Remedy is opening and closing the show because they revealed their three-player co-op multiplayer game called FBC Firebreak. It's a PvE game where players will work together and challenge army of supernatural enemies in familiar locations. Again, set in the Control universe. Man, I popped off real hard for this. I don't even, you, to be fair, Remedy could show me a piece of dog crap, and I'd be like, "Oh man, all right, like you got it." I don't think this looked bad. This looked very fun. I wish it was 4-player because like 3-player multiplayer is just like a weird number for me. I feel like someone in the friend group always gets left out. But coming to Game Pass and PS Plus, I assume it'll have crossplay. So it looks like they're making all the right moves to set this up to at least at launch be a successful multiplayer game. I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, I think they're doing a whole lot of right things with this. I'm very excited about it as well. I don't know how much I will be playing of this just because like I feel like it's one of those games where again it relies heavily on having other people to play with. Not that I couldn't play with you and like other people that are in the group, but just my personal like times that I play and stuff like that make it more difficult. I do like the fact that they are telling you exactly what it is. Like in the IGN coverage, they're saying, "Hey, this is not Control. This is not Control DLC. This is not going to be heavily narrative driven. It is a multiplayer game. We're trying different stuff. We're pushing ourselves creatively." And so I like them saying all of those things up front. The other thing that I also like is that this is not a game where you got to spend time customizing a loadout or trying to like fine tune your gun balance or anything like that. It's meant to just be a pick up and play. So the way that I kind of described it is that it's like Call of Duty Zombies and Rainbow Six Extraction and Lethal Company all kind of like merged into this one thing because it kind of looks goofy at some points in the trailer where it's like it's meant to be kind of funny, like you're disinfecting in this little shower thing, and then it's got like this lo-fi graphic style, like it's not meant to be realistic, I guess. And I like all of that. I think it's really good.
You're playing as FBC agents, and if you played Control and even Alan Wake 2 to a certain extent, like they're not great at their jobs. Like a lot of them are goofy, a lot of them are bad at their jobs, and these seem
relatable.
Like you're just normal dudes. You get thrown in a hazmat suit, and then they're like, "Oh, we modified some weapons with some supernatural things that we had laying around the office. Go out and kill everything in here." The art style is very different from what I would have expected from a Remedy game and in the Alan Wake Control universe going on here, but I'm in for like just a fun time. I don't personally need it to be like tied to where all the links to Alan Wake and Control. Like we'll get that in the single player stories they're working on. It doesn't look like this was a very like man intensive project that they've been working on for years and years. So I'm good with this.
Yeah, totally. I think that that's cool that Sam Lake and the leadership team are like cool with just trying different stuff and not necessarily pushing for we need to immediately go into Alan Wake 3 or Control 2, which I'm sure is already in development. I believe that's confirmed. But
yeah,
you don't need to have that. You can do other stuff and not only supplement the income, but also kind of like help your team stay creatively energized. I think that's a really important thing that I would even say like Activision Blizzard, probably if you talk to some of the teams like Toys for Bob, whenever they were in their Call of Duty support emo band era, where they're like not really able to make anything cool. Obviously now they're kind of doing their own thing out there, spun off doing free stuff. But being able to do what you want to do is something that's adding to that longevity of the studio. And I think that's super important for the creative process. So glad to see this happening.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Sam Heaney wrote in with one question about the show. Assuming there's not any kind of first party surprise at the party preview, there wasn't. When do you guys think we'll actually begin to see uncut gameplay of Indiana Jones? Less than 2 months till release, and I still feel we don't really know what the moment to moment will consist of. Is there any chance of another Xbox presentation between now and December 9th?
No, I think that's it. I think this is it until the Game Awards where we'll see something. But I believe the Game Awards is after or right
I think
around.
it's the 12th or something. So
Is it Indiana Jones? What day does that come out?
the 9th of December, I believe.
Indiana Jones release date game. Yes, December 9th,
It's
2024.
Yeah, so it's 3 days after Indy gets released.
I mean, you might see like a sizzle reel trailer. I think that the difficulty is that we have kind of seen the moment to moment gameplay in a lot of ways. And it's just like we might not really realize that we've seen it. Like that big chunk of gameplay that they showed on the frozen boat, where it's kind of like a cutscene and then a little bit of action here and there. I think that's kind of like what it's going to be. And showing too much of it might run the risk of showing too much of the narrative or giving away too much of the story. So I think that might be part of the issue they're dealing with. But I also think, honestly, I'm not predicting that the moment to moment gameplay of Indiana Jones is going to be anything that's like super compelling in and of itself. I think this is going to be like a very investigative, you're scoping out these tombs and like seeing all these hidden areas and whatnot. I don't think it's going to be something where you look at it and it's like, oh, that's the action that I know machine games for. I think this is, again, a creative project that Todd Howard kind of threw their way. And I'll be interested to see how they kind of deliver on it.
Yeah, I'm getting worried that it's not like, because they've shown us clip like, oh, you get to use the whip and like sneak past people and like punch some people in the face. I- I'm not sure it's gonna be as like interactive as people think. Like Wolfenstein, I don't think you're gonna be like running in like machine gun. Like it's not gonna be that action heavy. Is my personal feeling.
You want to know what I want to throw down some money, and by money I mean nothing, and just predict something.
Hmm.
I think that Indiana Jones is going to have the same energy as like old school Tomb Raider. Like where you just like I'm talking old school like Tomb Raider 1 that was remastered earlier this
Hmm.
year or whatever, where you literally are going through the tomb trying to find how to continue advancing, and you're like investigating different areas, and there's a little bit of combat mixed in, but
So it's
it's
a
not really
puzzle
the focus.
game.
Yeah, I think that's what Indiana Jones is trying to be. I don't think it's trying to be Wolfenstein with Indiana Jones, which they've said that effectively through the gameplay they've shown. So I think it's going to have like an old school Tomb Raider vibe to it. That's my bet.
What do you think that Metacritic or Open Critic's gonna be?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, if we're predicting the Metacritic Open Critic right now, it depends entirely in my mind on the story that they tell and Troy Baker's delivery, which I mean, from what we've seen so far, is very, very good. I'm going to bet that it's like a low 80s, maybe high 70s. I'm gonna say
We're in the exact same. I was gonna say
like
seven.
81
Yo,
feels
I
like
was
them.
literally 78 to 82 is like where
Yeah.
this game's gonna fall.
Yeah, I'm betting that it's going to be an 81, and I'm betting it's going to be one of those ones that kind of like Starfield in a way, where it's like you love it or you hate it. I think it's going to fall in that camp, and I also think I could fall in either camp depending on what mood I'm in that week. So
Same.
we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, we're that week. So we do a live react for the Game Awards on Thursday. So our show is gonna be on Wednesday that week, probably. So I'll have 2 days to play it, and I could decide by then if I hate it or like it.
How long do you think the campaign's going to be? Have they said that yet?
Ooh, I don't think they've said. I'm guessing 10 to 15.
I'm googling it. How long is Indiana Jones campaign? They haven't said anything. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the action game, is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Yeah, I would say like 15 to 20 is what my bet is, because I think that if we're talking about telling a compelling narrative, like 30 to 40 hours is
Too long. Too
pump the
long.
brakes there. So I'm hoping for 15 to 20. And I'll be interested to see how they kind of like stretch that out with side quests or like other collectible stuff you can do too.
I get worried when we for these types of games when we start approaching the 20-hour mark, because I feel like that's when I often like, okay, we should have had an editor look at this and like probably
Yeah.
cut some content. But
Yeah, I feel like the Callisto Protocol was a good length as well, which I believe
oof,
was like, what was that, 10 to 12, something like
I beat
that?
it in 7, but
Yeah,
I'm
it was very,
fast.
very
So
short. And I feel like it was also like hitting good strides in terms of the narrative. So like that.
yes. All right. Let's move on to story number 2, 52 minutes into the show. Uh After last week's show, Xbox President Sarah Bond tweeted, "quote Starting in November, players will be able to play and purchase Xbox games directly from the Xbox app on Android. This coincides with reports from sources like The Verge and Windows Central that in November, Xbox will begin a phased rollout for allowing players to stream games they own using Xbox Cloud Gaming. I know there's some, I forget what it's called. There's some cloud gaming service that it's not the official one, but the guy kind of saw that they've started adding owned games like the code in there to stream them. So this
Mm,
is coming. It's going to roll out to insiders first in November. Then it's going to be a phased rollout by region, by game. So it's not going to be everything all at once. They're going to add batches of games to let you stream it. So this is going to take some time, but we're finally getting what Phil Spencer promised us 5 years ago, Sam.
we are. I am very curious to see how they message this out, because, how do you effectively convey this message in a way that doesn't make it even more confusing for the Game Pass drops. Like if you're just the standard, I'm following Xbox on Instagram and I'm trying to see what their newest announcements are. And you're like, hey, by the way, guess what? Black Ops 6, day one in the cloud. Modern Warfare 3, day one in the cloud. Also, by the way, these other games you can just play on the console version of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, but they might come to the cloud in the future. And then this one's just on PC. But this one's cloud. Now it has touch controls. And it's like all of these different ways you are delivering these things. Like, I'm glad it's all happening. I'm just like, how do you make this happen in a way that's not like Charlie Day with the Always Sunny, line, trying to figure out how you're moving these things from point A to point B. So I'm excited. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I guess this is the way that they have to. It's just such a big library, I guess.
I'm really interested to see how they lean into this, especially as we've seen them with the Fire Sticks be like, oh, you don't need an Xbox to play Xbox. Like, once you get your library up and running, that is more true than ever. And I've seen some reports, and I haven't been able to confirm this, and I don't think Xbox has confirmed this either, but that you'll need Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to stream like, you'll need that to access the cloud versions of the games you own, which doesn't really make sense to me. Like, okay, so I still need Game Pass even though I own the games, because that's like X Cloud is locked behind Game Pass.
Yeah, and then so I haven't read up on any of this, and I don't know if they've announced anything officially. So it's just Ultimate, is what you're saying? That like you have to have Ultimate, you can't have like just Game Pass Core or any of the other ones.
What I've seen, and again, these are just what people have been saying, or people have data mined or whatever, that it says Game Pass Ultimate required for your owned games, because that is where the cloud version is. I don't know if they finally introduced that cloud only tier that we've been talking about, and then hey, you get to stream the cloud versions of Game Pass games and your own games, which I think now more than ever, once this goes into effect, we need that cloud only tier. If you're really going to push this, hey, you got a tablet, you got a Fire Stick, that's your Xbox now.
Yeah, I'm very curious how they roll that out over time. If I had to guess, and they do stick with Ultimate being the way that you access the cloud stuff whenever it does start rolling out, the people that are going to be playing these games in the cloud are already the hardcore Xbox audience, the people that have the Ultimate subscription. So maybe they're measuring over time to see what the engagement's like before they invest more and more resources into developing yet another tier of Game Pass to make it even more convoluted once again, and figuring out how to kind of get that fan base that might not be the hardcore Xbox player in the door. Because I'd be curious about like GeForce Now subscriber numbers and all these other little like, I forget, Boosteroid is the other one that comes to mind, of like how many people are diving in and streaming these games. Amazon Luna is another one. And so I don't know if Xbox wants to rip the Band-Aid off and just do it all at one time before they see, all right, how many people are actually using this kind of thing, or what games should we focus on? What games are people searching for that they can't play? Maybe they want to collect some data that way. So I'm interested to see what this looks like a year from now. And then also, what games do they start with? I mean, that's the big question I imagine you want to come out swinging with something that's like, all right, I want that immediately as my library that I can stream.
I imagine they start with first party titles like that you own, because I imagine that's the easiest, because they already have cloud versions ready to go from the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Like, you just, if you own it now, you can also do it. You don't have to see. This is where it gets tricky, because like if they're already in Game Pass, though, how would you differ? Like, a cloud version of Game Pass, it would be the same if I owned Halo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if I own it, I should just automatically be able to cloud stream it in my mind. I think that's the easiest without Game Pass. So I'm really hoping they don't lock it behind Game Pass. But again, we'll have to wait and see for that. We do have a question here. Ghostly Guides writes in and says, streaming your own games is great. What other improvements do you guys want to see? Personally, for me, I think the next step is making it so if you game share on Xbox, it carries over to Play Anywhere titles on PC. Also make Play Anywhere the standard going forward. That's really my big thing. Like, Play Anywhere needs to be universal, especially if you are pushing this narrative you don't need an Xbox. Like, let the people buy games on your Windows store, right? And then you have it in your cloud only library. Like, let me stream whatever I buy on the PC. So if it's on your Microsoft account, I think you should just have access to anywhere you can sign in with your Microsoft account.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I would want to see on top of Play Anywhere being the thing that they really flesh out, and this is like one that I need to get in there and test just to see how much I really, really need it. But I think back to the FTC trial and the direct to cloud controller that they had announced. Again, I think I did that
Yep.
last week. I don't know why I say controller like that. But the direct to cloud controller that they announced that kind of does what Amazon Luna did and what Stadia did as well. That's really compelling to me as somebody who, you get these announcements like Black Ops 6 day one into Game Pass. All right, cool. So whenever I'm playing Nuketown here in a couple of weeks, you're telling me that I'm going to be at the top of the leaderboard playing Cloud on my Fire Stick with an Xbox controller? Brother, come on. Like, I know what this is going to do. So I want to get in there and test it to actually like go hands on and say, all right, have they improved it to the point that I can be competitive in a first person shooter like Call of Duty? If not, that's the next step to be able to get these hardcore players on board. Because if you want more Xbox players that would normally be buying a console to play their games like Warzone to adopt your cloud gaming device, it's got to be a 1-to-1 trade off of this is just as good as I had it on the console or the
Mhm.
PC. And right now, again, I haven't tried it with an FPS. The last time I tried it with Halo, wasn't there yet. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, I need all the help I can get with Halo. So, like, we've got to get that locked in before I can really say, all right, I'm all in on the cloud the way that I am all in on an Xbox console.
Yeah, for me, I'm never gonna go to an FPS for cloud right now, at least. It would
Yeah.
take massive improvements. The cloud gaming is that turn-based or narrative where like latency doesn't matter all that much and you can just kind of enjoy the experience of playing. I think this is a very good first step. I'm excited to see how this progresses and evolves throughout the course of the year or 2 years, however long it takes to get them fully up and running on this. I'm just glad it's finally happening because like if it's not Play Anywhere, like I don't think like Dragon Age, the Veilguard isn't Play Anywhere. I would love to just be able to, I can cloud stream it to my ROG ally. Like I could always remote play, but maybe I don't want to remote play. Maybe like someone else on the con, like let me cloud stream it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would love that. I think that would be a really, really big benefit. So the more that you can, the easier they can make it for me to play the games that I own and the games that I have access to in the cloud, the better off I'll be, whether that's through performance or access. So totally agree.
All right. Our final story for today. Game Pass drop. So available right now. South Park, The Fractured Butthole for cloud console and PC if you have Game Pass Ultimate PC or Standard. Donut County for cloud console and PC on the Game Pass Ultimate tier, PC tier, and Standard tier. Mech Warrior 5 Clans for cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. That's if you have Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass, no Standard on that one. October 25th, you get Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for cloud console and PC on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. You also get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, both coming to the cloud if you have Game Pass Ultimate. October 29th, you get Ashen for cloud console and PC on Game Pass Ultimate, PC, and Standard. October 31st, Dead Island 2 comes to PC for those with Ultimate or PC Game Pass. What's piquing your interest this month?
Looking through the lineup, I still have not played South Park: The Fractured Butthole. I've heard great things. I know that we had the other South Park game that came out earlier this year, and then we had Stick of Truth way back in the day. I have not played the Fractured Butthole, so I might give that a shot. Donut County is one that I played a little bit of on cloud back when it was first on Game Pass. I have been meaning to go back to that. It's been on my wish list, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Easy 1,000, I believe I
Mm-hmm.
have heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give that a shot. And then, I mean, dude, Black Ops 6. I got to get in on some Black Ops 6. I mean, Call of Duty, it's the nostalgia thing for me, and I really enjoyed my time with the beta. So those are the ones that I'm probably going to be playing the most on top of finishing the Diablo seasons and the Vessel of Hatred stuff. And then I kind of have Starfield still in the back of my mind. So the Game Pass drop is definitely tempting me to kind of dip my toe back into the variety side. How about you?
Yeah, so not much for me here. I know Donut County, it's returning and has been well received. That's not my type of game unless I'm like really bored. Like, oh, I just want some achievements. I don't know what Ashen is, so I'd have to look that one up. Dead Island 2, been able to play. Call of Duty, I am still very undecided on. Like, that might be one. Like, should I download it before Extra Life in case people want to play? We can have like a giant lobby playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6, but then again, I don't know if I really like Call of Duty. I haven't played one since Ghosts. I'm probably bad at it now. And this one, especially, I've heard the time to kill is ridiculously fast. I think they lowered the health even more since the last game, which I already thought had a very high time to kill when I was watching Sean and Joe play it at Extra Life. So nothing really jumping out to me here, but that's fine. I am busy with games that I have bought, and I'm playing those.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm also looking at gameplay for Ashen, and it is a co-op. Let's see, a co-op action RPG, and it kind of looks like the remake of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons combined with like what you would expect from an RPG. So it's got a very kind of like claymation art style to it, and gotta admit, kind of interested. Annapurna, that might be a fiance game. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. In terms of Black Ops, you'll get melted immediately as soon as you log into the lobby, because I do as well. So join the party.
Cool. Did
But,
they fix the awful UI?
They are fixing that next week, actually. So they are launching a new update where it's going to totally get rid of the old thing, and now it's going to be like an actual menu to boot into the game. I still wish they would get back to the standard way that, you know, games are meant to be played, where it's like you boot up Black Ops 6 when you want to play Black Ops 6. But I get that you want to like keep people playing the older games longer as well. So I'm sure there's a purpose to it, but it is getting better. I'm excited about the campaign. I feel like the Call of Duty campaigns have always been kind of like action popcorny. If I have to see Adler one more time on that motorcycle in the Capitol Rotunda, I know that's going to be the highlight of the campaign. They've spotlighted that in like everything, so I'm excited to play it. I'm a sucker for some Black Ops, man. I mean, that was my favorite Call of Duty back in the day, and I feel like I like Cold War and where they kind of took things. So definitely excited for more of that. And yeah, the accessories look pretty cool too.
I was just going to bring that up. Xbox seems to be going in on it finally. I'm seeing some marketing for it on TV commercials. They're like, here, we got controllers. We got a wrap. We haven't had a wrap in like a year and a half. We got a wrap.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, we have 4 wraps now. We've got Mineral, Arctic camo. We have the 2 of those, Starfield, and now Call of Duty. And I'm like, you know, it's almost like all of a sudden, it's like the thing at the end of the Michael Bay movie, the meme that's going around of like, you think the character's dead and then the leg twitches. It's like that. Yeah. That's what I got whenever the Black Ops 6 controller or the console wrap dropped. I'm like, oh, they are making them. It's kind of scary for a minute, but I'm excited about it. I think it looks cool.
More wraps. We need more wraps.
I would like more wraps. I think that there's a high potential for even just like easy wins, like solid colors. Give me a red wrap. I feel like would be really neat. Just something that, you know, I would buy. I don't know.
Well, we have one listener question to round out the show, and it's from Silkenit, who actually put it in the chat during the show. I told him I would answer it at the end. He said, how much do you think playing on easy impacts your time to beat games? This one's probably directed at me because I am playing Metaphor on easy, and I play lots of games on easy because I'm an adult who I ain't got time. All right. You know, we got to get through these games. I'm here for the story. I'm here for a good experience. I'm not here to challenge myself. I'm not here to bash my head against the wall. That's why I don't play Souls games. Wu Chang, please. Difficulty options. All right. This is all I'm asking. All right. Doesn't even
I'm excited about it either way. I'm playing it day one either way.
Does it have co-op? Can you help me? No, it definitely impacts my time to beat games because like there are people playing games on hard or even harder difficulties than that like it automatically means your time to play, especially RPGs, is going to go way up because you're going to have to spend way more time grinding and like have to be way more careful, probably die way more. So like, yes, it for sure cuts down my time.
Yeah, I mean, playing on easy definitely cuts down my time. I will say I don't play on easy very often. There are very few games that I've ever cranked down to easy unless it's something that I'm like really in it just for the story. And even if it's that, it's probably on normal for me. But I never judge anybody for playing anything on easy. It definitely cuts down the time. I kind of have been thinking about like changing the way that I play games because and right now I'm kind of in my live service kick of like, here I am back once again in Diablo and Call of Duty, like the sucker that I am because I love these things. But I do want to get back into like really grinding through some stuff. So like I'm thinking about Flintlock. That feels like a game that I want to play on easy just to kind of get through it.
Don't get achievements. You don't get achievements on easy.
Oh, yeah. I remember you complaining about that. Another Atlas Fallen. I'll do another example then. Atlas Fallen is one that I just want to kind of like get through just to kind of like because I want to play it. It's just I don't want to put 50 hours into it. I'm kind of in that weird in between. So
that's what I did for Remnant 2. I played that on easy because I was like,
I played that on normal. I played that on normal. Yeah, I was grinding
yeah,
through those. That was
yeah.
a rough couple of weeks. That was a hardcore
Oh,
couple of
I
weeks.
played a co-op too, and I was like, this game is still like it was manageable. But if I had played it solo normal, I would have been very frustrated with that game, I
Oh
think.
yeah. Yeah. But I appreciate when a game is hard. Like whenever I was playing Wolong and my Apple Watch gave me a heart rate notification because I was playing the final DLC boss, and that was like the hardest thing I've ever done in a game. Absolutely popping a blood vessel doing that one, but it was a great time.
I remember being well in the show after this tangent, but I remember being in Best Buy when VR was first getting big,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Do you want to try this VR helmet?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And they put it on, and the game that they booted up was a mountain climbing one where you started
Oh,
on this little board, like 100 feet, and like you look down, it's just like a giant
I
drop
remember
into the
seeing people. Yeah.
ocean, and then like you have to climb, and I was climbing, sweating, and then I fell, and like my heart rate, I think it was like 160, so it was like crazy. I thought I was dying.
Oh, that's awesome. I've never tried VR. I was in the Apple store last week and I was going to try a one of the other things. And I'm like, I don't know how many people's sweaty foreheads have been in this. So I'm just going to not. I'm good. I don't need eye illnesses.
This was when they were wiping it down in between people, so like they
Okay.
knew what was up. They knew what was up.
There we go.
All right, guys. Well, that will do it for this week's show. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. It was a good time. Sam, can you let everyone know where they can find you, my friend?
Yeah, you can find me over on JamPackSam at TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, all those good places. Having good conversations. I have a lot of I've received a lot of cool emails this week, so the next couple of weeks are going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to sharing some cool content coming up here.
Manscaped.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Hashtag ad for Manscaped. I'm live manscaping coming to TikTok near you. No, but it's good. I'm excited about the next couple of weeks. The season is here. The hype is coming. So I'm happy to be a part of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really happy for you. Well deserved. Well deserved. So you can find me at the Muffin Mon everywhere. It's 17I07A. Follow us at Save Game Media on all of your social media platforms. Stay up to date with our latest content. Until next week, we'll see you.